I bought a bunch of Middle Eastern fragrances. I call them blind buys, but I already knew what I was getting. Some bangers and one that you probably haven't heard of. Here we go. What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb. Welcome back to, it's reversed, AROMATIX. What do you guys think of that sign? Let me know down in the comment section. Let's go ahead and get started with some of the heavy hitting fragrances that I have already dabbled into from last year when I went to some of these events, and some of which I have not sniffed until right before this video, just so I know exactly what I'm gonna be telling you guys, or first impressions rather. So the first one I wanna talk about is called Sarab, and this is by Maison Des Parfums. This brand is actually the niche line from French Avenue. You can find these on Oud store, and as always, you can save using a bunch of these codes on screen right now. So for this fragrance in itself, the presentation is top-notch premium stuff, and that's kind of what they're going with this entire lineup, at least the Maison Des Parfums. It feels like this felt lined, or I should say plush rather, with the inside being felt lined. And on the inside, you also have the bottle that rests like this. You kind of slant it forward to pull it out, and there it is. And so now we have the fragrance that looks like a mixture between a horse and a fragrance bottle. The horse itself is really heavy. You could actually hurt somebody with this. And here we go, atomizer check. Wow, premium. Smells like Bleu de Chanel. Very clean, very crisp, a lot of coriander. Now this is one where it's kind of a toss-up depending on the price. If this is around like $50 to $60, it smells really premium stuff, you guys. I mean, even up to 65 bucks. It's clean, it's non-alcoholic. I mean, the scent in itself is pretty easygoing. There's nothing immaculate about it. It's fresh, it's blue, and it's got woods as it starts to dry down. It's Bleu de Chanel cologne. That's what this one smells like. So if you like Bleu de Chanel and you're looking for premium or higher quality smelling clones or dupes, this is definitely one of those. I personally have already talked about a few of them, including Imperial Blue, but Sarab does not shy away from anything less than borderline designer quality. Because I would say niche, but it's a relatively simple scent profile. That's not the case with the rest of the Maison Des Parfums though. They have one of the best inspired buys of City of Stars. And since I mentioned it, it's called Marine Blue, also by Maison des Parfums. Now that one is worth every freaking penny. It smells like the nighttime on the beach, some suntan lotion, maybe some citruses. Much more expensive. That's what it smells like a $450 fragrance that you can buy for like 60 bucks or less. Moving on to the next one, and this is also a similar case scenario. It's called Pinnace Gold. Turn on your captions for this one because pinnace is just crazy the way that YouTube actually puts it down in the captions. Now, what I'm actually saying is pinnace, but what you're actually seeing is something that you probably thought of. Anyways, so Pinnace Gold smells like this lemon mandarin zest. It's actually more so mandarin orange zest, along with this green style of rind. Pinnace Gold is inspired by Afternoon Swim, except because of the fact that they try to make it longer lasting, which it definitely is. It adopts much more of a synthetic vibe. And I'm talking about all of them, you guys. It's not just this one. If you look at the one from Paris Corner, if you look at the ones from all these other brands, they're all gonna have this emphasis on this crystallized style of ambroxan, a little bit synthetic, and even a green undertone. Because of the way that Afternoon Swim is composed, a lot of naturals, etc., a lot of those oils are pretty volatile, which means that they dry off relatively quickly. And if they dry off quickly, obviously it's not gonna last as long. So what these inspirations start to do is reimagine the fragrance with a little bit more longevity, emphasizing a little more so on the rind and the green aspect, something a bit more aromatic, giving you a scent profile that's not necessarily a dupe, but definitely in that vein. And this one, in comparison to all those other ones, you might be caught up with that dilemma, right? Like, okay, so there's a lot of those, which one is the best? I'll say that at least for now, this one in comparison to a lot of the other ones and the older ones doesn't have as much of a synthetic vibe to it. The orange one by Paris Corner, I forget what it's called, it does have a bit more of a metallic vibe to it. This and Fellouge Intense by Junaid Perfumes, which is a niche Middle Eastern company, everybody's inspired by everybody, honestly, at this point, are the best quality ones. Like I said, it still is more synthetic than Afternoon Swim. That is a scent profile which is just immaculate, but because of the longevity, it's just atrocious. Closer to one of the more naturalistic ones would be Pinnace Gold. Moving on to the next one is this bad boy right here, and it's called Odyssey Mandarin Sky by Armaf. I have every single Odyssey now, so let's see what this one is like. I believe this was supposed to be a Scandal inspiration, and there we go. Funky looking color gradient in this thermos. Atomizer check. I'm hoping that this one, better atomizers than the past. Yeah, whoa. Oh, this DNA is good. This one seems even a little bit more candied. This is damn good. I mean, it's got a little bit of, it's got a touch of fruit at the top, a musky, vanillic style tonka bean dry down, As simple as that. Very designer, very mass appealing, compliment worthy, and ageless. An ageless fragrance every man could wear. You could wear this daily, you could wear it to school. I mean, I don't know about the gym because it is relatively sweet, but if you like signature scenting, sweet fragrance, it's gonna be this. Honestly, at this point, I have a lot of Scandal inspos that I'm probably gonna make a clone war, but the Odyssey series are bangers. And this one being Mandarin Sky, I can see why it was talked about a lot. Definitely, it's not weak. Very strong right off the atomizer. So not bad, not freaking bad. Moving on to the next one that I'm really excited about having is called Connoisseur Man, also by Armaf. This one is inspired by YSL Wiley Elixir, and that I personally think is underrated, but I can absolutely understand why. It's got much more of a niche approach, and also the 2 ounce is around $180. So when you take away that factor and you make it more available, more accessible, and more affordable, it kind of places it in a different realm. What might have been a 5 or a 4 could potentially be like a 7, because if you factor in score or you factor in price in the scoring system, then it takes it away. This is really good. This is really good. That's crazy, man. That is wild. Armaf Connoisseur Man smells clean, smells soapy, green undertone. It's got those resins, a little bit of raunch, still pretty mass appealing, but on the very end of the spectrum when it comes to mass appeal. Borderline pushing the boundaries and getting a little bit testy, but I don't think that this is niche in any realm, including Wiley Elixir. It just has more emphasis on some of that frankincense, making it seem a bit cleaner, a bit more soapy, and like I said, a bit raunchier. This is really good, man. This is really good. I'll probably be rocking this during winters, during cooler weather, when I want to have that fresh out of the shower gel vibe, but something a little bit richer and denser than that. Awesome fragrance. I think this one is borderline a 10. It's called Connoisseur Man. But if you're not into raunch, if you're not into more polarizing and punchy fragrances, you have been warned. For my taste personally, I think as of right now, this is one of the better ones. I think for mass appeal, definitely we'll go to the Pinnace Gold or Pinnace Oryn. You probably didn't turn your captions off, did you? You dirty son of a nice guy. Pinnace Oryn and also Mandarin Sky. If you're really looking for something punchy and challenging and testy from this realm in terms of price points, get Connoisseur Man. Moving on to the next one is Lion Club. So Monarch Lion Club. I don't think I made a clone war yet for PDM's Altair. This one smells exactly like that. So it's called the Lions Club Monarch. It comes in some pretty crazy looking packaging. I'm not mad at it. Atomizer works like so, and here we go. That's good. Vanilla, cinnamon. I just get a more green undertone with the orange blossom in this one. And to my nose personally, whenever you dose up orange blossom, you kind of get like this green undertone to it. And for whatever it's worth, this one seems to be emphasized on that a little more. Even more ambery, less ambroxan, less spiced and crystallized to my nose. Making it seem like a richer take on something like Altair. It's still really good. It's still really good. Is it my favorite? I don't know. I'm gonna have to be comparing it to, but there are already a lot of inspirations and twists. I don't think this is gonna be my favorite, but it still is really damn good. In terms of my favorite Altair twist or inspo or dupe or whatever the heck you wanna call it. Anyways, moving on to the last one. It's pretty epic. It's called Opus Magnum because your boy wears only those by French Avenue. You might get this and end up like punching it because I was really frustrated. It's like, how do you even get this out, French Avenue? But all you really have to do is just that's it. Opus Magnum is very clearly inspired by Royal Tobacco. Let me grab that really quick. And you can see that in the color gradients. I personally love Royal Tobacco, but it is polarizing, it's not safe, and it probably won't be for the masses. You have been warned. It's artistic, it's raunchy, slightly animalistic. I think more so towards the tobacco, bahur, incense. This is home for me. It's got a tarry nature, a spicy nature, a smoky nature, and just so many fucking natures in this thing. It's crazy. It smells like you might have went to the woods and just rubbed off onto the trees. Your body on the tree. Opus Magnum smells a lot like this, and that's insane because there are a lot of naturals in this fragrance which are almost impossible to capture at a certain price point. And that being said, this one doesn't capture it exactly because it's just impossible. But for whatever it's worth at this price point, it's incredible how close it actually gets. So let me spray this on one more time. This is one that I lived with for quite some time, even before I had this bottle when I was in Dubai. In the convention, because I love this fragrance in itself. Here we go, Royal Tobacco versus Opus Magnum. Wow. Yeah, so the tobacco nature, the richness, the depth, and even the coniferous vibe that I get personally with Royal Tobacco, which is just sharp and punchy and intense when it comes to those greens, is toned down in the Opus Magnum. You get more of the smoky nuance. It's less licorice vibe, less spiced, but the overall fragrance in itself is still there. Whereas you might pick up this clean, naturalistic style of pipe tobacco, you get the tobacco, but it's covered more so in like ambers. It's still enveloped in the same spices and all that good stuff. And what you end up with is more than just an idea of what Royal Tobacco is. It's like the portrait of the fragrance itself, just colored in maybe 2 or 3 different colors or wrong colors. So with that being said, for 400 bucks is what I paid for it at retail. You can probably find it on discounters occasionally for like $200. If you do, it's worth it. This is less than freaking 80 bucks, sometimes even 60 and 50 bucks. And in that case, it's worth it. Even if you want to sample it, you could buy a 10 ml of this for $30. This is how mind-blowing this freaking realm of fragrances has become. You could buy a 10 ml of this for like 35, 40 bucks, or you could buy this whole motherfucking bottle for $100 or $50. It's crazy. Sure, you get a lot more naturals, etc. But I mean, it is what it is. I still think that you should sample the original if you truly love it, or if you want to know whether or not you're going to love it, then you try this, especially with a testy fragrance like Royal Tobacco. For example, when I first smelled this, I sprayed it on, I was like, what in the f is that? I went around the mall, I started, just going about my day, and I was getting wafts of this that I fell in love with only later. Very challenging, not a safe blind buy, but Opus Magnum makes it that much easier to get into. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the newest Middle Eastern fragrances added to my never-ending collection. Let me know down in the comment section which one of these sounds most interesting to you. Armaf's been killing the game lately, and there is a saffron fragrance, and I cannot wait to show you guys. Also, Club Dinner Week straight, it's game over.